Hello everyone, and welcome. My name is Sam ReaN, and I hope you guys, you football fans, are going to be having a fantastic Dabdosi crack-a-lacking day. Well, today we are going to be discussing the championship this weekend, which kicks off tomorrow night at 8 PM on Sky Sports. So sit back, subscribe, like, comment and share, and these, my friends, are predictions to all the championship games this weekend. Some tasty affairs as well. We got some games like Luton Burnley, two teams definitely going to be up there at the end of this season. We've got my team, of course, Cardiff against Sunderland, so that's going to be a good tasty affair. So we've got others like Leeds United against Pompey. Now that is going to be tasty. So we are though going to go to the beginning of the weekend by discussing two games not exactly on the weekend. Now, these games are Preston North End against Sheffield United. Now, Sheffield United, everyone is predicting poor things, really, because they have been on poor form. They have been dreadful in the Prem last season, and I reckon this season they need to pick up their form where they left off, really. Probably not on the Prem, but they need a fresh start in the Championship again, and it should be fun for Sheffield United this season. Sheffield, a lot of people predict them to go really low down the table. So who knows? But Preston, I'm predicting that Preston won't do that great this season. Their team, like Cardiff were, for God knows how long, basically never getting to the Prem. They're the only team I think amongst like a few others in this league who have not been in the Prem. So that being said, I am predicting Sheffield 3, Preston North End 2. Now, good game this will be. Good game. Sheffield United, tough team to beat when obviously they are on form. But Preston is a good team too. So I reckon Preston will get the goals going. They score first goal, and then Sheffield will score the equaliser. I think that Preston will score again, so that'll be 2-1 going into half-time. But then Sheffield United will bounce back with 2-2, and then they're going to get a winner at some point near the end of the game. So that is my prediction. 3-2 to the Blades. Next up, we have Blackburn Rovers against Derby County. So let's discuss a bit of Derby County, because Derby County, of course, everyone knows them to be a championship team, recently promoted from the League One table, League One league. Of course, they probably got loads of excitement going into the season. Of course they do, but I reckon things will be an up and down season for Derby this season. It's going to be interesting though to see what happens, because Derby is one of them teams where it's a bit like Stoke Derby, but a bit poor, a bit like Stoke, where you never know where they're going to be season after season. So moving on to Blackburn, everyone's predicted them to either go down or not do very well this season. Blackburn, I mean, Blackburn are a good team, so I'm hoping Blackburn win. Obviously, my time with Derby is when I went to their ground. I was in the coach, went to their ground, and then they cancelled the game midway before our coach turned up. Of course, Cardiff. Then because there was the whole Snowgate, then Derby rearranged the game. And then we made fun of Derby at the time, but they did get their revenge because former Cardiff player at the time, former Cardiff player who played for Derby at the time, Cameron Jerome, fantastic player, scored against us, which is terrible, but you know. So that's why I hope, because we got a bit of rivalry there with Cardiff and Derby, so but I am predicting a close game between two of these teams, because two teams are, of course, equally poor, but could easily make a surge towards the playoffs or even higher. So, I mean, Derby less likely, but Blackburn, you never know. You never know with Blackburn. I will be doing my predictions, by the way, guys. My predictions video will be coming out either tomorrow or on the weekend. So, 2-2 I'm predicting this game between Blackburn and Derby. Can be a tasty affair between these two. Blackburn more rugged, more like a bit like Burnley Blackburn are, and Derby a bit more like they play more open football. So it's going to be interesting. 2-2 between Blackburn and Derby. I reckon Derby will get the goal first, then they'll get a second goal, Derby, but after half time, of course, half time's 2-0 to Derby. At half time, Blackburn will sort their game out, sort their tactics, and then they'll get the 2 goals back. So I reckon it's going to be an interesting game, but I do reckon it's going to be a 2-2 result between Blackburn and Derby County. Next up, of course, is my team, my home, my love for Cardiff City against Sunderland. Now, this is going to be a good game between two teams who are basically they're up and down sometimes. Errol Bullock, our manager, is going to be interesting to see how he progresses through the season. We got really good players like Jack Simpson, Willock from QPR, of course, former Arsenal player, I believe. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them two, because pretty good signing, I reckon, amongst a few others. But overall, I reckon we're going to do good this season. I feel that we're going to do good, but it's going to be a roller coaster between now and the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how my team Cardiff play this season. Of course, there's loads of optimism between the fan base and the manager and the owner, Vincent Tan, who recently said that he's really looking forward to the new season thanks to the new signings. Of course, it needed new signings, the team, because we were going nowhere without the signings. And thank goodness for Vincent Tan, who basically backed Errol Bullock, gave him another year or two with a extension of a year. So that should be really good this season for Cardiff. So you'll find out where I put them in the season predictions tomorrow or the day after. Who knows? But I reckon this game between Sunderland at home at the Cardiff City Stadium, of course, live on Sky Sports Plus, It's going to be fantastic, and yeah, good atmosphere as well. It should be between two teams who are notoriously known for good games. Two giants in the league, Sunderland and Cardiff, of course. Cardiff and Sunderland. Yeah, I reckon we're going to win 2-0 to Cardiff, of course. Of course, we got players like, unfortunately, actually, our striker Isaac Davis played well in a pre-season friendly, but then he had some injury. He had to have surgery on a bit of his leg or whatever, and he's out for a couple months. So that's not really great news for Cardiff, but we have got other strikers, and it should be good. We've still got Robinson and players like that, so we should do good this game and going forward. So yeah, Sunderland. I don't know about Sunderland. People say that they're gonna do poor this season. With the predictions I've seen, there's loads of people thinking they're going down. Predictions are wild nowadays, but yeah, Sunderland they're gonna do good. I'm not gonna do as good as people think. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what Sunderland do. A lot of these teams have got new managers now, so I don't know. But 2-0 to Cardiff, to the Bluebirds, of course, at the home of the Cardiff City Stadium. QPR West Brom next. QPR, good team. West Brom, good team. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens between these two in this game, because obviously QPR need to basically do much better than last season, where they almost went down. So West Brom, I mean, everyone's expecting them to be in the playoffs or near there. So who knows between QPR West Brom, but I am predicting now QPR will, of course, get a goal first, and then West Brom, and then QPR, and then West Brom. But at halftime, I reckon it's going to be 1-1 between the two teams. It's going to be close, end-to-end like battling in the field. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these two juggernauts of clubs fare out in the season, but who knows, I'm guessing. But you will know in the season prediction video coming soon. So yeah, between these two, I reckon it's going to be a 2-2 affair between both teams. I reckon it's going to be one of them games where it's going to, there's a free kick goal and a corner goal, because West Brom are notoriously known for like set pieces and scoring set pieces, of course. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens between QPR 2 and West Brom 2. Of course, we have Middlesbrough, who's going to go up against the Jacks, Swansea. So this will be interesting, because Borough, they are notoriously known for being a very strong team under Michael Carrick, of course. So 3-1 to Middlesbrough in this game against Swansea. Swansea, in my opinion, would do a bit poorly this season. Not as poor as last season, where they were near the bottom of the table. I reckon it's going to be 13 for Swansea. And obviously it's going to be interesting to see how Swansea do, because they have got a lot of good players in their team, but can they gel together to make a good unit going forward in the Championship, of course, this season? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Middlesbrough, fully backing them to make the playoffs. They are going to be doing good this season. They're not a big team for no reason, of course. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So 3-1 to Borough. I reckon Swansea will score first, but Middlesbrough will equalise. It'll be half time. Middlesbrough will score the leading goal, so it's going to be 2-1 to Borough, and then they're going to get an extra goal somewhere in the game, near the end of the game. So it's going to be 3-1 to Borough. It's going to be interesting between Borough and Swansea, how they fare this season. But it's going to be a really good game between two teams who basically need the points at the start of the season. Let's be fair. Right, the big game now, Leeds against Pompey. This is going to be the game in my prediction. It's going to be the game of the weekend where two very good teams, are going to go basically hammer and tong between the two teams. Leeds, the disappointment of not making the promotion last season, just spur them on further. Pompey got I'm expecting loads of people got high expectations for Pompey. It's going to be interesting for Pompey because everyone expects them to do well. They always, in my mind, they always been a championship team for a long time. Unfortunately, they did go down and stay down there for a while, but they're back now, and who knows? They could get playoffs. Who knows? Playoffs for Pompey could be on the cards. They could surprise a lot of people, fans this season. Leeds United, good team. A lot of good players have gone, like Somerville. They still have like Dan James and all that, so should be interesting for Leeds. Because I'm expecting nothing other than top 2 for Leeds this season. It's going to be a tough task, especially with Luton there and Burnley and loads of other teams like Middlesbrough, like maybe Sheffield United might go there, or maybe Norwich, Watford. Who knows? But yeah, this is going to be the game of the weekend in my opinion, and I'm predicting a good game. End-to-end game, exciting game, loads of tackles and loads of mistakes. As at the beginning of the season, a lot of teams make errors, but obviously they get ironed out the game after. So yeah, who knows? But we know what my prediction is, as you can see. It is 3 to Leeds, 2 to Pompey. So yeah, I'm predicting a good season for both teams, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens this season. So yeah. Next up, we have got Millwall against Millwall against Watford. Yep, so this game is going to be awesome. It's going to be it's not going to be a goal fest, let's be fair. Millwall are known for not scoring a lot of, and I mean a lot of goals. I mean more than 3 goals in a game. They're not known for. They're known for 1-0s, 2-0s, and that's it really. But Millwall against Watford is going to be interesting to see both teams how their seasons do, because Millwall with Neil Harris, who knows? He did wonders for Cardiff until obviously he didn't do wonders. I mean, he was a right manager. He nearly got us promoted in the first season in the COVID era. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's the word of the day, interest. But yeah, 2 teams, going to be a close game. I'm predicting a close affair between the 2 teams, and I'm predicting Millwall 1, Watford 2. Now Millwall is going to be scoring first because they're home, but then Watford will score to equalise at half time. At half time it's going to be 1-1, and then early doors in the second half. It's going to be 2-1 to Watford. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be one of them games where it's going to be on a knife edge. So yeah, both teams hopefully will have a good season, but who knows? Nothing is very predictable in the Championship. Let's move on to the two yellow teams in the Championship, shall we? Oxford versus Norwich. Now, both teams are going to be interesting. Both teams is going to be very, very good this season, which I'm predicting both teams will. Now, Oxford will surprise a few, and they are, because it's their first game of the season in a long time. They haven't been in the Championship since 1999, so it's going to be interesting. I won't say interesting anymore, guys. But yeah, it's going to be really good to see Oxford back in the Championship after all these years. I mean, Oxford is one of the underdog teams that you don't expect to get promoted, but they did. And Oxford will ruffle a few feathers in the Championship. Of course, in this game, I'm predicting a big shock in the opening game of the season for Oxford, as I predict that Oxford will get a win against Norwich. Now, Norwich team which always ends up in the playoffs but never exactly gets promoted, and if they do get promoted, Norwich, they always go down again. So they're a yo-yo club, Norwich. So I mean, this game is going to be very exciting, because this game is going to have end-to-end football, and it's going to be like last game of the season type vibes, but it's the beginning, of course. So they want to impress, they would, when they Oxford and Norwich, because Norwich, let's be fair, Norwich has not been the greatest of clubs to manage. Let's be fair. So yeah, 2-1 to Oxford United. That is going to be a big shocker. A lot of people, I'm probably thinking, will have Oxford to win their first game, but I mean, it's a lottery really, these first games. So yeah, anyone can win. So Oxford 2-1, and I'm predicting actually that Norwich will score first, and then it's going to be Oxford equalising. Then in the second half, they're going to grab a winner. It's going to be interesting for the neutral and for everyone at the ground. Next up, we are going to be talking about two teams in which will have contrasting season. So yeah, it's going to be Stoke against Coventry. So Stoke Coventry is going to be a good game. Not a very explosive game. It's going to be one of them games where once you watch it, it's going to be like a little bit of a bore fest. The way Stoke play, they don't play exciting football. Let's be fair to Stoke, and everyone knows that Stoke don't play exciting football. So it's Stoke's challenge is to change the mentality of the club as a whole, because let's be fair, people don't even know if they're going up or down this season. So yeah, in terms of Coventry, it's going to be very I was about to say interesting, but I'm not going to. It's going to be very a weird season for Coventry. That's it, weird, I think. Yeah, it's going to be weird for Coventry this season. It's going to be very up and down season for Coventry. They normally they gain momentum season after season. Of course, obviously Coventry could get in the playoffs. I mean, they're one of the dark horses that normally people tip to go in the playoffs, but who knows? So in this game though, Stoke will score, then Coventry will score again, then second half they score another goal, Coventry, then Stoke just can't do anything about Coventry because Coventry is a better team than Stoke. So yeah, 2-1 to Coventry away against Stoke City, who a lot of people are thinking something might happen to Stoke, either go down or go up, who knows. But normally, it's not very interesting to see Stoke. Next bunch of fixtures, it's going to be two teams who are closely matched. Actually, it's going to be Hull City against Bristol City next. Let's find out what I predict. Next up, of course, we have got Hull City versus Bristol City. So two teams here looking to have good seasons. Of course, Hull and Bristol, similar teams, like I said before, but Bristol in some sort of yo-yo. They never basically reaches the playoffs. If they do, they never do anything in the playoffs. So I can't remember the last time Bristol was in the playoffs. I don't think they ever have they? But anyway, Hull City went up to the Premier League alongside Cardiff, of course. Fond memories when Cardiff played Hull. Obviously, Nicky Maynard, the former Cardiff striker, had a season-long injury, which cost Cardiff that year. But last game of the season, he played his first and only game for Cardiff. Not only game, but his first game for Cardiff. So yeah, in that game, of course, we both got promoted, so it didn't really matter. It was the last game of the season. So yeah, it was at Hull as well. So basically, Hull got a penalty, missed that penalty. Then Cardiff went to the other end and got a penalty for Cardiff. And of course, Nicky Maynard, the striker who had a season-long injury, scored his first goal for Cardiff, which was very, very exciting time. And so Hull, in my eyes, is a really good team, and I'm predicting 2-1 win for Hull City, and it's going to be I have to say the word interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens for both teams, actually, because Bristol don't do much season after season, do they? They promise a lot, but then nothing really happens to Bristol. Hull City, I mean, they got rid of some good players, former Cardiff player Philogene, of course. So I don't know what the future holds for both clubs, but all I'm saying is the winner in the first game of the season is going to be Hull City 2-1. Next up, of course, we got the last but one game, Sheffield Wednesday against Plymouth. Two teams who are probably more so desperate to have a good season, close to relegation last season until they got good form out of nowhere. So yeah, two teams I reckon who should do well this season, but a lot of people predicting Plymouth to go down. I can't see it. I mean, of course, Wayne Rooney is the worst manager in football history, but I mean, if they do get relegated, Plymouth, it would just be Wayne Rooney, funnily enough, who get them relegated, just like Birmingham did. Of course, I reckon Wayne Rooney's level is like League 1 or 2, so yeah. But overall, Sheffield Wednesday, of course, got good players, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with two teams who are more or less equal to each other. That's why I'm predicting 1-1 between Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth. It's going to be interesting to see what happens between the two teams this season, because a lot of improvement needs to happen between the two teams. and I'm thinking that they will have some good seasons. So who knows? But it's going to be one Sheffield Wednesday and one Plymouth. Next up is the last game before the Carabao Cup, EFL Cup or the Carabao, one or the other. Before that comes around, so let's begin with Luton against Burnley. Luton against Burnley, two teams who people predict to get promoted once again. Two teams who basically not much has changed, except for Burnley, of course. Burnley changed their manager and a few other things, but I mean, it's going to be one of them games, high-scoring games. Of course, I'm predicting good things for Luton this season. They've still got the same kit for some reason, doing what Brentford did in this season and past seasons. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with two teams who everyone is predicting to get promoted. If Burnley can't get top two, then they might fumble in the playoffs, unless they do a Southampton or a Leeds where they meet each other head on in the final, then see what happens. But yeah, Luton I reckon is going to be top two this season. Either I reckon Leeds or Burnley are going to be the second spot team, and yeah, it's going to be really good this season for both teams. I reckon it's going to be a 3-3 affair between the two teams. High scoring and a lot of hype between the two teams. So that is that for today. That has been my opening weekend predictions in the EFL. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the EFL. And yeah, my season predictions are going to be coming in the coming days, so look out for that. And yeah, my name Sam ReaN, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. But until next time, subscribe, like, comment and share. And until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you then. Diolch yn fawr iawn.